Welcome to the Sellernomics podcast, where we share valuable tips and information in the Amazon and e-commerce space. Each week, we deliver the best interviews with some of the top Amazon personalities in the industry to help you grow your business. Today's episode is brought to you by Getida, the global leader in FBA auditing and reimbursements. Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at Getida.com/Sellernomics. And now, here are your hosts, Rob Stanley and Lisa Kinski.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Sellernomics. My name is Lisa Kinski. I'm joined by my co-host, Rob Stanley. And today we have with us Pauline Shiu. She comes to us from Finale Inventory. And we're going to be talking about how to elevate your Amazon game through insightful inventory management. Inventory has been a huge topic of conversation on Amazon lately with all of their changes and new fees and limitations. So we're going to get a little bit into that, but more so just about strong inventory management strategies for the business, regardless of, maybe not regardless of what Amazon's got going on, but just creating a strong process at its core. So let's go ahead and bring her on. Pauline, how are you?
Hi there. Great. How's everyone doing?
Doing wonderful, dear. Thank you so much for hopping on with us. So I think first things first, let's just talk about those core strategies, right? Which strategies do you recommend small businesses put into practice to optimize their inventory management when they don't have budget for like large scale systems?
Sure. Absolutely. I think that, even without a fully automated system, the data at its core is always going to be what's really important. And so, we get folks, sure, using Amazon tools. That's great. But even beyond that, your own system for tracking and, Excel sheets can go a long way. There are people who are like Excel wizards out there, and I hate to say it, you can go far. You're not going to get the automation, you won't get the notifications, but at least the tracking and some of like the really cool formulas that are out there can help you with kind of, obviously the direct counts, the kind of knowing what's inbound from your supplier, what's headed to Amazon, what's been received, what's listed, what's sold, etc. And at that point, it just becomes about the maintenance of the sheet, how diligent you are with the kind of checking in the formulas, even the signing into Amazon, get your Seller Central account. And are these the right numbers? Are the numbers that I have in my sheet the same numbers that are reflected out on Amazon? So again, open up Excel, open up Google Sheets, and get familiar with those formulas.
My boyfriend is one of those Excel wizards, and he does inventory management for a clothing company. And whenever I pop into his office, I'm like, yeah, that's all you, babe. Could never.
That's right. Yeah. And it gets a little tricky too, because, we've even seen when on a seller side, again, Excel sheets, we totally understand this is a real thing, but, when someone manages the Excel a little bit differently than someone else, you really need, again, that the come together, the training moment to say, like, this is how we're tracking. This is how our formulas are picking things up. How do you want to take a look at it? What does it really mean for the future? So always just keeping a really good eye on the formulas, the maintenance, and the parity with Amazon.
Pauline, what things are missing? Like if somebody is using an Excel sheet, formulas only take you so far, right? Like it can only do so much.
Yeah.
But when it comes to those sheets, if they are using it, what things are they missing, or potential things that, they probably could utilize if they were not using just a basic Excel type sheet or even advanced one?
Totally. Yeah. So it comes down to a couple of things. One, again, we talk about like logging into Amazon Seller Central a lot. Things change so quickly on Amazon, where if you're going to look at your spreadsheets every week, every month, your numbers can be really off. So that like real-time update for your product stock levels, status, et cetera, is what you'll miss. The other thing, because the data is just not dynamic, it's not how it's set up to work, right? Because it's not dynamic, you don't know exactly your stock levels. And without knowing exactly your stock levels, sellers aren't aware of what needs to be reordered, what's running low, what maybe don't they need to reorder, right? And then I would say, third, we work with a lot of omni-channel sellers. So for sure Amazon, but also Shopify, whatever, even brick and mortar across different marketplaces. managing in spreadsheets also means that you might have an Amazon spreadsheet separate from your Shopify
Shopify.
spreadsheet, separate from your Walmart spreadsheet, and just having them separate. Like, even though you can kind of read cells and create dashboards, yes, that's possible. The fact that it's all just kind of manually populated and not real time across the board at any given second is a big miss, right? We're all kind of scared of that overselling and like your error rate and your defect rate and all of that. Static data is what happens as a result of that.
That can really mess you up. I mean, if you're trying to predict or even just kind of get an idea, especially with delays in shipping and manufacturing time and at sea and things like that. I mean, there's a lot going on in this world. I mean, I just read a whole article about the whole Panama Canal and how there's going to be delays getting through there. And if you're not aware of these things and what your time it's going to take to get that, and then what my current inventory is, that will really mess you up.
Exactly. And again, right, we spoke to Amazon's changes. We talk about there's a fee for everything. Too little inventory, there's a fee. Too much of inventory, there's a fee. Too early, the fee. The wrong warehouse, there's a fee. Too long, there's a fee. So Amazon's basically saying you have like a 5% margin of error, otherwise there's a fee, right? And so you got, again, like, power to you on your spreadsheets, everyone. We are here for you. But also, if you want to avoid those fees, it's the stuff you have to get ahead. It's all of that ordering, the reordering. We talk to sellers all day long just about what's the right number and how can I get ahead of, again, all the fees and getting my stuff in time. I was talking to someone else about, like, there's AI and like software and technology can do really like sexy things these days. And then I was having the conversation with them about how, like, well, Finale, we're working on parity. That's it. I mean, other things, but we want to make sure that's what is reflected in Finale is exactly what Amazon is showing. And like, it doesn't sound sexy, but really, guys, the impact is big because you need to know how Amazon sees you. And if your numbers are off from Amazon, then sellers can get in trouble.
Would you say that that's among some of the most common or most costly inventory management mistakes that sellers make, is not being sure what they have on their end and what they see in either Amazon, Shopify, Walmart, et cetera, don't align? Or what are some of the other mistakes that you see sellers are making?
100%, yes. So it's always having, well, not always, but yes, it's having mismatched counts. You mentioned the sales channels, that also incorporates the what's on your warehouse shelf, right? And then even before what's on your warehouse shelf, what came in from your supplier. So you've ordered 100 Yeti cups. Great. You've ordered 100 Yeti cups, but they come in, 100 Yeti cups aren't there. You only got 75, let's just say, right? So your stock person puts away the 75 cups, but your purchase orders person, they're not talking to each other, and they think you've ordered 100. Gary in the warehouse tells Bob's up in listings, hey, Bob, got the Yetis in, go post them, right? I forget the names now. Bob posts 100 on Shopify, right? So Bob's going to sell through 100 and be really excited, except for Gary's going to have like an moment when he gets down to 75 and there's none left. And Bob's like, well, what do you mean I ordered 100, right? So just that data parity, the consistency throughout the entire process can get folks in trouble. So that's the receiving end. Clearly, we talked about the listings, but then even, you talked about it. Web store, Walmart, Amazon, whatever, in store, if they're showing a different number, then that's troublesome. And that's not to say that they can't sell at different rates, right? Sure, I can sell more from my Amazon. Maybe my Shopify at certain days, is more popular. And then my TikTok shop goes viral and like that's flying off the whatever. They can sell at different rates. That's totally fine. Yeah. But they have to have that consistent number to know that there are exactly 93 cups now available.
Yeah.
I love how you tied that all together, because the reality is, omni-channel, basically, it's kind of one of those things that's almost required now for Amazon sellers. Like, you need to be other locations, right? Don't always be relying strictly on Amazon to get these sales. Plus, you just never know, right? Like, you'll sell it on Amazon, maybe it's popular, but you throw it up on TikTok shop, boom, it goes viral, and all of a sudden you're out of it. You got to be able to adjust for that. And, that's one thing we get a lot of people on talking about make sure diverse into that. Now, here's a great solution to make sure that you're tracking that inventory correctly. Same with, you might be shipping something FBM and selling it, different locations also. You got to track all that. It makes sense. That's great. Great information.
And even for sellers who have like multiple Amazon storefronts, right? Or multiple Shopify, whatever it is, you can still pull from the same inventory, sell across multiple channels. The number just has to be consistent. And then in terms of, how sellers can get ahead of it, there are ways to like hold inventory. So we have sellers who hold inventory for big promotions. If they have a big like ad push going, they'll reserve an extra whatever X number of units for that ad push for the TikTok shop thing. Fine. We also suggest to sellers, again, spreadsheets or otherwise, that you set like a minimum reorder point. So give yourselves a buffer. Don't sell to 0 and then figure out the plan. Sell to 25, sell to 50, sell whatever it is, like you guys know best in terms of your suppliers, the timing to get it in, the timing to get it restocked. Give yourself a buffer to get ahead of the reorder and the restock. That'll help prevent overselling for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And you had kind of alluded to it earlier it's definitely problematic, right? If you have your marketplace team selling the 100 units when really there's only 73, how do inventory management and customer experience kind of coincide with each other?
I love this question because I think when people think about warehouse, they always think of the post sale, right? The order goes through and then there's a problem. But I truly think that inventory is like a full customer lifestyle experience. Because, let's start from like a negative and then work our way positive. If your brand has a negative customer experience, your stars go down, your reviews get lower, right? You get dinged. And so from the start, customers are already like, they look kind of shady. I'm not really sure what I'm going to get from them. I want to go to this like 6,000 4.9 rated seller. But yeah, if you have a poor customer experience, what does that mean? If it takes a long time, FBM or your Shopify, fine. If you send the wrong item, right? The item was mislabeled, the wrong item was picked, what have you, your customer is going to be upset. And whether you're able to regain that customer, like to make that wrong or right, or you lose them, big risks in customer satisfaction. And again, like at Finale, we really like to focus on profitability. Now that's the return you have to pay for, right? That reimbursement, you guys get all about this. And then even from the seller side, it's the labor, it's the staff to manage that return and that customer. And who knows, maybe like Kathy ordered something for her daughter's first birthday. Like you never get that first birthday back, guys. And like you as a seller just bombed Kathy's daughter's birthday. Like don't be those people, So it's really tough. It's really tough to kind of risk the customer experience and losing a customer.
Yeah, we're so often invested emotionally in these purchases, right? Like you said, first birthday, Christmas, christenings, retirement parties, it's right. Weddings, there's a buffer with weddings, but still you've got to be able to stay on top of it.
To a point.
We are going to take a quick break in here from our sponsor, but when we come back, I want to talk about kind of the evolution of a business when they need an IMS and then also innovation with those systems. So we'll be back in just a second.
Boosting your Amazon FBA profits have never been easier. Thanks, Getida. We handle the complex process of FBA refund recovery so that you don't waste time. Sellernomics listeners, claim your first $400 in free reimbursements by visiting Getida.com/Sellernomics. Experience hassle-free profit growth with Getida today.
All right, you guys, be sure to head over to Getida.com/Sellernomics for the first 400 and FBA reimbursements free. We are back with Pauline Shiu with Finale. So we've been talking about, managing this inventory via spreadsheets. At what point in time does a business say, okay, too many spreadsheets, right? Too big of spreadsheets. The story of Getida getting started is managing, our founders were managing their inventory via spreadsheets. And at some point in time, it's too much data and it won't populate, right? Yeah. So at what point in time do they need to look and say, okay, maybe we need to get a little more sophisticated, a little more mature with our inventory management?
Yeah. I see this as going two routes. One is the reactive, oh, there's a problem, let me look into something. One is the proactive. So on the reactive side, it's kind of that to that point, right? You're starting to see that there's more complications, that there are errors in your formulas calculations, that you're like losing spreadsheets. This might date me a little bit, but your Microsoft Excel crashes and you don't have a backup and it wasn't on Google Sheets yet, So like the loss of data, the mismanagement of data, the errors, things just kind of getting mistracked, because honestly, even people who use spreadsheets, I know a lot of sellers who literally still will go around their warehouse and like clipboard count and like write the number down and then like count the boxes, and like that manual process in and of itself just becomes either too error prone or too complicated. And that's what leads us to the second one, which is maybe should be the first one, but being proactive, right? So noticing that your business is getting more complex. You've added SKUs, you've added a warehouse, you've added sales channels, you're just handling your business in a different way, right? Once that happens, it just becomes exponentially harder to manually handle your inventory, right? Counting like 50 products on a warehouse shelf that's, just yay big right in front of you, versus having aisles in a warehouse that's like 5 shelves high and whatever, all the bins across, it just becomes more problematic. And so just kind of recognizing that you're growing is great, and then getting tools to get ahead, right? I think kind of the seller who knows that they can't do everything on their own, that's the kind of seller who's going to get ahead and get ahead of the errors and the headaches, really.
Yeah.
Because growth strategy, I think a lot of people think of growth strategy as expand, but they don't think about the operational hurdles to help them do that, right? Expand to a lot of sellers is kind of like an external thing. Add products, add channels, add team, add. But what about like save time, prevent errors, make things faster, reduce returns, right? That's like another way to handle things. And so how can businesses think of, I guess what we like to challenge sellers is, how can you think of growth, not just by the ads, but by the like operational efficiency, by the optimization, by the kind of the scaling effort, as opposed to just the like ad mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It seems like it's going to vary, like when people transition from like that Excel sheet to a software service. But it also sounds like, it could be early on. If they're expanding into omni-channel, having multiple spreadsheets and trying to keep track of where everything is, it can get, really, really difficult, which, we always say on the show, or at least I like to say this, is you focus on your business. Yeah. Shouldn't be focusing on something as simple that a piece of software or tool can help you with. Yeah. And yeah, that's where the technology comes into play. But, I did also want to ask a little bit about, your guys' technology and how it's helping these sellers, and also touch a little bit on the customer experience. We started to talk about it a little bit, but I'd like to touch on that a little bit more, because, there's a whole thing of making sure you have inventory, which can affect getting to the customer on a timely manner, but also like when to order. And, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Bingo. So that when to reorder is probably the biggest question we receive and like talk to sellers about all day. And the way Finale does that, again, is just really through all the connected data and like the real time data. So for instance, with Amazon, as soon as they publish kind of their APIs push data, we're pulling it in, right? So giving sellers the exact amount at the exact time as fast as it's available, because we know that it's so important to sellers. It's getting all of that omni-channel order inventory volume data in, so that exactly, Rob, we can get to the reorder, right? So your sales velocity across channels is something that Finale can help you calculate. And it's funny. So, we'll get sellers in from Excel spreadsheets. We'll show them how Finale works. We'll kind of let them know how to set up whatever, the reorder points, etc. And then they're like, wait, that's it? They're like, yep, that's it. Email, we'll just tell you when to reorder. And then you go in and you kind of approve it. They're like, they're like, no, like we've connected all your data points and you just need to generally approve it and you're good to go. So, so I think that's really the big deal about Finale, is that not just that we're pulling in the data, we're giving data that's actionable, and we help you take action on it. Again, like some of the smallest software features there are to like code out are some of the things that our users love the most, which is notifications, you guys, right? Like we have sellers who are just like in Finale all day, but we also have those who are just like, you run this and tell me when these 5 conditions are met and email me, and then I will sign in and handle my business. Like it can be that simple. Just like look for the email from Finale to handle your entire multi-million-dollar business. It can get that simple. What else can Finale do? Again, we've talked about like multi-channel, omni-channel sales syncs, the reordering. Lisa, you kind of mentioned it, but didn't exactly ask yet. You were talking about like what's next, kind of how can sellers get ahead? So there's the whole like purchase order system, reorder points, great. When we talk about IMS and then WMS, the warehouse management piece, barcoding is huge, right? Before I like quickly mentioned picking the wrong item or like putting away the wrong amount, we're finding our most sophisticated sellers are using barcode scanning. So they receive in all those products. And then again, Bob, Gary, who is who, Bob can tell Gary, yep, we got only 75, or yes, we got all 100. That's one thing. You're also picking and packing the right items with barcoding. And in terms of where things are going in the future, RFID, I think, is going to be really big. There's been a little talk. It's getting bigger. Walmart is now getting to a point where they're going to require like some degree of RFID to shipments into their warehouse. So like, how does that start getting rolled out is going to be really interesting. And sorry, I don't mean to like scare anyone who sells on Walmart right now. This is not like a April 5th deadline. This is definitely, rumor mill has started. Things are underway.
And what would that, sorry, just so I understand, what would that look like? Because I hear RFID and the only thing I think of is the little like RFID blocker like sleeve I have over my credit card. Yes, but then I also think of when you go to the some of the stores that Amazon has, not Whole Foods, but the Amazon store
the self-checkout.
Yeah, but it's not even self-checkout. Your cart is the checkout where you grab the thing, you drop it in the cart, and it grabs it. Is that RFID or is that like 360 barcode scanning? Like
yeah, the Amazon in-store is always really interesting. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I know in general, I'm trying to find like a little something to show you, but it's basically like layers of barcodes stacked into one, if you will. And so by scanning one, you kind of understand the larger total. And it's not just to say that like one barcode represents whatever the case, the pallet, what have you. It's just there's more data in the one RFID scan than a single barcode can contain, right? So technically, barcodes can contain, I don't know, you guys, I X number, of data. But RFIDs, we were talking to someone today, they were like, the hexadecimal, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, that's like a little too much for me. But the point is exponentially more data can go into the RFID than the barcode.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So I want to back up just slightly because I did have a question and it came to mind when you were kind of talking about the whole system and reordering everything.
Yeah.
So touching back on that, like, is there ways to input like, okay, on average, my factory takes 30 days to make this and it's going to take X amount of days to get to me? Or does the software kind of learn that from you ordering and saying, I ordered it on this date, I received it on this date? So is that kind of factored in? Because knowing when to reorder, part of that is how long the manufacturing is going to take and how long it takes to ship to get to me. So is that kind of built in? I want to touch on that because I think that's important.
Yeah, great question. It's kind of a combination of both. So what I will say is that because you can issue your purchase orders, or at least we can help you create them, from your supplier, you'll get that like arrival date, right? So we'll kind of know the expected arrival date for the users of our barcode scanner. You can also then get the receive date, the put away, the da-da-da-da. And then Finale / with our API connection to Google Sheets, other BI tools, great. API access, et cetera, you can then go and do the other calculations for, oh my God, all the different triangulation of data, this merchant, this product, this type, that shelf, what have you, to know really what is that timing it takes to go from order to shelf. But even without it, you can also know the delivery date and then the restock date, right? For your like inbound available date.
That's awesome.
And then be able to pull reporting in Finale.
Very cool. I think that's super important. I mean, sellers are always, like when do I reorder? And there's unpredictable things, right? Like if something blows up, goes viral, you're going to sell out the next day. They can't predict that. But, knowing that on a regular trend of selling, or maybe even the closer you get to Q4, it's going to sell more. If it could trigger you to, hey, you might want to order more for this, to knowing that Q4 is coming up. That's huge. So
exactly. Yeah. And we talk about that, like the reorder point. Part of that is exactly that time frame, right? So we know that it takes 5 days to get in from the supplier. It takes an extra 2.5, 3 days. Let's just assume the weekend is in there for it to get put back on shelves. So we need to reorder a total of 8 days prior to us selling out. And by selling out, I mean, I want to be at 10 units, right? Because that'll get me for a day of inventory, let's just say.
Never out.
So it's like backing out that time frame gets into your buffer. And so that whole reorder sales velocity hits the buffer, cues the process. And you're kind of like, trust the process. It's coming in. But it allows you to have a little bit more time before you freak out about being out of stock.
Yeah. And beyond the reorder timeline, what are some of the other business decisions that proper inventory management can help these business owners make? So we've talked about, different selling velocity on different marketplaces. Can it help drive them to say, hey, maybe move away from this platform to this one, or maybe let's stop selling this product? I mean, how else can it help them shape their business?
Bingo, 100%. So a lot of that also comes into the fact that Finale is integrated directly with QuickBooks Online. And so we will parse out all the sales order data that we get into QuickBooks. So you can see your Shopify, whatever, your various sales channels will be segmented in QuickBooks Online. And then from there, it can also be by product type, your apparel versus your beauty versus your whatever it is, right? Your categories. And you can dice the data and segment the data so you can understand kind of what's profitable, what's not. The other big one that's in Finale is truly like your COGS and your landed costs. So again, because we have the data in Finale to know you're purchasing at $3, let's just say, you're selling at your Shopify at $11, Amazon is $10.50, your Walmart, whatever it is, we know what it costs to get it in and what you're selling it for. So even those just like very product related ROI calculations, you'll know, and you can again segment by channel. Where that really comes in handy, this one is a little bit in Finale, out of Finale. I talked about advertising before, right? And so sometimes sellers will be like, so excited, I just got this promo with this influencer. We're going to kick them back 25%, whatever it is. Great. I'm very excited for you. Except for I'm not sure if people are really calculating the total takeaway cost between they've now, given away 25% of their income, their revenue. But what does that mean against the velocity you're driving and the cost that it took to create it, package it, staff it, et cetera, right? And so all of those costs, a lot of them can be taken in from Finale, exported, whatever, to get that full picture and not just I ran a promo, I sold 2,500 units. Oh, but guess what? You sold them at a loss. Let's avoid that.
Yeah. Well,
Very cool.
I think we can shift into speaking specifically about Finale now. We've kind of been talking about the capabilities of the tool already, but we'd love to hear more specifically about who you help, maybe how long you guys have been in business. I just saw your team at an event in New Orleans, so obviously attending a bunch of different shows. Just tell us more about Finale in general.
Yeah, for sure. Lisa, I think we bumped into each other in passing in NOLA.
We did. We did very briefly. Yes. And then we have a webinar next week together. We have a recap so we're just going to be seeing a lot of each other, which is nice.
Hanging out. I love it. Very good. Yes. So Finale has been around for 10 years. You guys, really exciting. We've been part of that ECF community for a handful or so. It's wonderful. And, MDS and all the other Amazon communities. But we are here to help omnichannel sellers make things easier, right? Let's prevent the freakouts. Let's limit the headaches. And we do that through operational efficiency. Table stakes is that, Finale helps sellers with their multi-channel sales syncs, getting all those numbers real-time, accurate across the board. But the real value in Finale is, yes, that alone is good because it prevents overselling, but it's the other pieces too. It's connecting to your suppliers. It's understanding when to reorder, how much to reorder, getting it in time. In light of all of these new Amazon changes, right? We're going to get you the right amount in the right time, sent to the right place. So huge. We're here to help sellers scale their operations, grow their business. We're really proud to have worked with sellers who have gone from 6 million to 60, and higher. And so we do that through our software and our team. Our team is really some of the best in the industry. And I don't say that just as like a talking point. I say that because I know it's true. We get sellers love us. We just won the G2 Users Love Us Award. And that one for me is like the best one, because it's not just like our software is helpful, but like they love the company. They love our team. We're really helpful. It's our team of experts and the software together.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how does your pricing structure work with Finale?
Great. Pricing. So pricing starts, it's all on our website, guys, really transparent, part of what makes working with Finale easy. We have accounts that start at $99. I will say that most of our users are more in like the $420, $650 range per month. We also have platinum plans that go like $1,000 plus, but to access barcoding, you're at the $650. And that's all based on number of users, number of channel integrations, and like features. Like I said, if you want barcoding, if you want QuickBooks, et cetera, you have to look for that certain tier. And so, yeah, we're helping thousands and thousands of sellers, whether it's FBA only, FBA multi-channel, web store only, any combination in there between. We'd love to help some more Getida folks as well.
Amazing.
Nice.
And for everyone listening, like Pauline said, the pricing is on the website, which is finaleinventory.com. Finale, Finale, inventory, spelled like inventory.com. And if you have any questions for her team, you can reach out to service@finaleinventory.com. And I believe we have an offer for our listeners, Pauline.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to extend a little, thank you guys for listening and being part of our community. So with the code GETIDA, that's right, talk to our team, call them up, schedule a demo, you can get 10% off your first 6 months with Finale. Like we just talked about, the pricing is transparent and candidly, guys, pretty competitive within the industry. So already it's a pretty good deal. With the extra promo code, it's even better.
Fantastic. So
Nice.
Again, y'all visit finaleinventory.com. Mention Getida when you book your demo, and you'll get your first 10% off your first 6 months with Finale. Pauline, thank you so much for being here with us today and sharing all this info. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's a good chat.
Thank you. And thank you so much for everyone who tuned in today. If y'all liked what you heard, please be sure to give us a thumbs up, share your thoughts with us in the comments, subscribe to the show, and we will see you all on the next one.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sellernomics podcast. Special thanks to our sponsor, Getida. Did you know that Amazon probably owes you money for FBA reimbursements? Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at Getida.com/Sellernomics. Be sure to join us again next week for more great tips on how to grow your business. And thanks again for listening.